Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at three cases from GMC, the K-2, R-2, and R-3. What's included with the K-2 case is a user's manual, screws, motherboard standoffs, drive rails, and a few other things that are required for installation, a fully featured remote control, and two AAA batteries. This mid-tower ATX case has a number of different colors. At the front it's black, around the front bezel it's silver, and on the sides and top it's gray. So it should fit pretty much any audio-video setup. The case is mostly steel except for a plastic front bezel. At the front there are two 5¼ drive bays, and each comes with a flip open drive bay cover to preserve the look on the front of the case. Here's the vacuum fluorescent display, which shows system information, song information, graphic equalizer, and much more. There is an audio-video center with the standard play, stop, previous, rewind, and volume buttons. Also here you'll find the reset button and the power button. This case also comes with a 9-in-1 card reader and an LED showing fan speed, power status, hard drive activity LED, and temperature. And a number of launch buttons. As well, at the bottom are the multimedia ports. There are 4 USB ports, a FireWire port, as well as a microphone and headphone jack. The front bezel can be very easily removed by pulling at the bottom. This allows access to the drive bays and the 140mm fan's dust filter. Now this filter is removable, but it also houses the fan, so you'll need to remove the fan first before you clean the dust filter. There's ventilation holes on each side of the case. This is to allow the 140mm fan to intake cool air inside the case. The left side panel has ventilation and an air duct. This air duct also has a dust filter. This air duct can be adjusted, and it also comes with a dust filter. At the back of the case, at the very top, is where a standard ATX power supply gets installed. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate would get installed, and they include a 120mm exhaust fan. There are 7 expansion slots and 2 thumb screws on each side panel. Also, the left side panel can be secured with an optional lock. This case fits standard ATX form factor motherboards. There's a fair amount of room to work on the inside, but unfortunately the motherboard tray isn't removable. There are 4 internal 3.5-inch drive bays for hard drives. To install drives in both the hard drive bays and the 5¼ drive bays, just use the included drive bay rails. Place a rail on each side of the drive, and then just slip the drive into the drive bay. Installing cards in the expansion slots is also a toolless operation because they provide thumb screws for every expansion slot. There are 4 audio-video style feet with rubber on the bottom. This provides excellent anti-vibration properties and won't scratch the surface. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. The R2 and R3 cases are the same except for the front bezel and the color selection. The R2 case is available in 7 colors and the R3 case is available in 5 colors. They are both mostly steel with a plastic front bezel, but because they are so small, they are extremely lightweight. The front bezel on the R3 is very shiny and reflective compared to the R2. The R2 case has the multimedia ports at the top of the case. There are 2 USB 2 ports, a headphone and microphone jack, as well as the reset button. Now the R3 case has the same configuration, but it's at the bottom. The power button is located relatively in the same place on both cases. The R2 case is configured so the optical disk drive tray ejects upward, while the R3 case's optical disk drive tray ejects downward. Also, the R2 has vents on both sides of the front bezel, but the R3 doesn't. The front bezel on both can be very easily removed by just pulling at the bottom. On the R2 case, the optical disc drive gets installed at the bottom, and on the R3 case, the optical disc drive gets installed at the top. To install an optical disc drive in the R2 case, just place it vertically like so and use 4 screws, 2 on each side. Note the vertical orientation and as well the tray, which will eject upwards. Also remember to remove the drive bay cover if you're installing an optical disc drive. And here is the push or eject button for the optical disc drive. You can see the mechanism on the inside here to get a better idea how it will eject the optical disc drive tray. Installation of an optical disc drive in the R3 case is pretty much the same, except for the optical disc drive points downward, and as well the eject button is not on the left, it's on the right. Everything else is the same with both cases, so I'll be using the R2 case to finish the review. The left side panel has ventilation and an air duct. The right side panel also has ventilation. Note that the air duct can be adjusted. At the back of the case is where a standard ATX power supply gets installed, and here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include one 80mm exhaust fan, but another optional 80mm fan can be added here. There are 7 expansion slots and 2 thumb screws on the left side panel. The right side panel and the top panel are riveted and can't be removed. This case fits standard ATX form factor motherboards, which is kind of surprising considering it's so tiny. There isn't a lot of room though to work on the inside, and unfortunately the motherboard tray is not removable. There are 2 internal 3.5-inch drive bays for hard drives. Another optional 80mm fan can be installed at the bottom. It comes with 4 plastic feet. Rubber feet would have been preferred because they have excellent anti-vibration properties and won't scratch the surface. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. The K-2 case is a fantastic product for a home theater PC setup. Also, the other 2 cases, the R2 and the R3, are really tiny, but they still fit a standard ATX power supply and the standard ATX motherboard. You can fit 2 hard drives inside and 1 optical disc drive on the front vertically, and that is really unique. But overall, all of these cases are great. Until next time, take care.